Have you given much thought to what you believe you're capable of? So, I'm reporting fresh after a Saturday morning workout, and I came across an interesting thought. And I love Mel Robbins. I don't know if you guys are Mel Robbins fans. I'm sure if you're interested in these Monday motivations, you are. But I kind of found myself in a situation this morning where I just absolutely didn't want to work out. And there's excuse after excuse after excuse. So my husband's been traveling for the past 2 weeks. I've been alone with two kids. Um, it's been so busy with activities. We have one activity that's like a 45-minute drive away, and it's like this laundry list just was piling on of all the pretty good reasons why I didn't have to work out today. I actually was up late last night till almost 12, doing work on a Friday night, just catching up on some projects I want to get through. And so it was this beautiful list of actually pretty valid things, right? Valid excuses. But I went back to this rule that I have, which is if you want to get a workout in, the rule is it's the first thing you need to do in the morning, period. Because if you don't, it's not going to happen. And it's this little system I set up that actually is super duper helpful because it's like giving myself these marching orders. And as I was doing the workout, I thought of so many friends of mine that just don't work out or just don't like to work out or think that it's not for them. And it sort of brought me down this path of, what are the things that I thought were for me or not for me when I was younger. And then I just kind of got rolling with hobbies or with interests and work and all of those things, like the skills that I've acquired. And it brought me to this theme that I want to talk about today, which is what are the ideas that you have about yourself? And while I think I've always been I have not been sporty. I did not play sports as a kid, period. But if my best friend Kristen Cassidy listens to this podcast, which I know she does sometimes, she will tell you that, when we were 8 or 9, I would be pushing us to go rollerblading or going around going jogging around the middle school track. I did like to be active, although I never played sports. I didn't play sports in high school or college or ever, right? And as I got older, actually when I entered college, I kind of started dealing with anxiety, and I would find myself enjoying going to the gym at school because it just relieved some anxiety and cleared my mind. It's really became a mental health tool that I had in my toolbox. And then over the years, I just became more interested in it. This interest grew and grew. And I remember I started CrossFit now about 10 years ago, and I hated it. Hated it. I remember the first week I fell down a staircase and still have a scar on my knee. And I just was this is crazy. Why do people do this? I'm never going back. But I pushed myself through it. And over time, I began to enjoy it more and more. And while I don't think of myself as a CrossFitter, I actually believe that I'm finding my way into that identity, and where I can open my eyes 10 years later, and now I'm much better than other people at my CrossFit gym that I work out in, and I'm known as being really athletic, and I'm the best of the worst. There's still a whole other category of people to kind of go beyond, which are the real competitors. But I'm saying all this because it's this is an identity that I've sort of over time really adopted and accepted, and then have gotten really excited about. I watch YouTube videos on how to do the moves better. I'm learn how to count my macros and eat for my performance and track my sleeping, and it's become like a really deep hobby that I really enjoy. And I hope like as I get into my 40s and my 50s and my 60s, I just actually watched a YouTube video this morning of a woman who started CrossFit when she was 89 and now she's 93. And like, this is a dream I have for myself, to be just like really always pursuing like the peak of my health. Because like when I was in my 20s, I'm much healthier now than when I was in my 20s or I was a teenager, for sure. So that's just like one identity. Another identity that I always had about myself is like, I'm bad with numbers, which proven to be like really difficult for my job, because as a marketer, like nowadays you have to basically be a data analyst, like, and that's just like how the market has changed and become. And so I've had to face these fears and have some very tough experiences to learn and grow. But now I can confidently say, like, I'm super comfortable with numbers. I'm very good with the data. And it has been a journey. I've actually even recorded a couple podcasts about like really painful situations with a really like tough, like bro like characters kind of yelling and shaming me to sort of push me to get into that. So I share all this with the idea of reminding you that we're very malleable. Like, if you have a spark, if you have a hint of jealousy, this is like a very big indication that you want more for yourself. But if you can look or scan anywhere in your life, a place where you find yourself jealous, that could be an indication of something that you want for your life that you're not allowing yourself to pursue, right? Like for me, CrossFit, like I always was really jealous of these like 50-year-olds with six packs, right? And I said to myself, I want to be a 50-year-old with a six pack. Now, I don't have a six pack now. Maybe I have a two pack. But instead of just like saying, oh, must be nice, must be nice, someone that could be, naturally super athletic and skinnier than I am to like be able to be that fit at that age. And I'm like, whatever, 15 years younger and I, look worse. But the idea is that like, instead of stewing in that jealousy or just like giving up, I've decided to just lean in to the desire. And I've really found like an enjoyable hobby and like a really enjoyable interest, like something outside of my job to like learn about and test things out and like just keep my mind sort of free and creative to think in other directions. So where is that in your life? Is it with health? Is it with like a career path? Is it with creative ability or anything, like drawing or baking or whatever it may be? Like listen to that voice inside your head and also pay attention for the things that you just like automatically disregard. I think health, and that's why I started this episode with this. I think health is a really interesting one because there are those laundry list of excuses. Like, going to a drawing class, for example, there's not probably as much resistance because you think like just joy, right? Right? It's like, okay, maybe you feel bad like leaving the family behind or taking the time for yourself to go to do a drawing class or something like that. But ultimately, you're looking at something that is going to be enjoyable. With health, I think that this is like a tricky one. I think that if you truly want to change, like you desire changing your health in terms of exercising or eating well, I think you first have to accept the fact that like it is for you. It is for you. Being healthy, being active, being in your peak physical condition is for you. You have to find the modality. For me, it's CrossFit, but for you, it may be yoga or just walking or whatever. Like you can get super healthy and fit doing whichever exercise you choose to do. But you need to like begin stepping into the shoes of that identity and really, really digesting the fact that you are absolutely capable of anything it is that you want in this life. You just have to push yourself to just not give up, make that rule for yourself like I did. I have to exercise first thing before the day gets started, or else I'm not going to. So either I make the decision that I'm going to or not going to. And some days I'm not going to. I don't feel well. I'm not going to work out today. I promised myself I was going to get 3 workouts in or 5 workouts in, and I can still make that quota and not work out today. You can make that decision. But it's all about really assuming the identity and knowing that you are absolutely capable of being whatever it is you want. There is nothing out there that's quote unquote not for you. I'm not that kind of person. Well, you could be whatever kind of person you damn well want. So I hope this week you think about that and you really pay attention to those things, those desires that you have that maybe you've been pushing down. And maybe take one small action to getting a little bit closer to that identity that you dream of having.